Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Nicolas and Martinas who allow me to be here tonight. My name is François Ladvie, and I'm an aerospace engineer for Ariane Group company. During the next 30 minutes, I will try to introduce you the futurists of the next heavy launcher for the European Space Agency, Ariane 6. The presentation is divided in three parts. An introduction to present you who I am, for whom I am working for, and where. Then the heart of the subject, the main milestones of the Ariane 6 launch campaign, and the main evolutions regarding Ariane 5. And to finish, some times to answer of your question if we have some. So, who I am? A French engineer. I start my career in 2014 as an operational mechanical system engineer for Ariane Space. During these years, I had the chance to participate in more than 30 launch campaigns on 3 different launch systems. Ariane 5 on the here. I don't know if you can see my laser.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So yes, Ariane 5 on the left, Soyuz in the middle, and Vega in the right. Some of this launch campaign were very intense. I can notice the launch of the last ATV in 2014, and of course, James Webb Space Telescope in December 2021. Since 2021, I live in French Guiana, like you said, where I prepare the combined test of Ariane 6 and its first launch. On this purpose, I already realized the first transfer of the different Ariane 6 elements for the combined test campaign between the different buildings on the Space Center. Let's have a quick review of Ariane Group on this slide. The company is a merger of the Space Department of Airbus and Safran. The company is based in France and Germany and employs more than 8,000 people. The main products are civil and military launchers. Ariane 6. So quick review of the next heavy launcher for the Europe. There will be 2 versions of Ariane 6, allowing the great flexibility. One version with 2 boosters and one with 4. Normally, we'll be able to put in geostationary transfer orbit 12 tons and perform up to 12 launches per year. One can notice that 13 European countries are involved in the development and the fabrication of the launcher. Now, the spaceport in French Guiana, where I live, also known as the Guiana Space Center, is a strategically located facility that provides optimum operating condition for launch, Ariane 5, Vega, and tomorrow Ariane 6. On the left picture, we can see the map of the CHG, the Space Center. Ariane 6 area is located between Soyuz launch zone on the top and Ariane 5 launch zone at the bottom. On the right side, a more detailed picture of Ariane 6 facilities. Here we can see the BAL building. It's the building where we will assemble 2 elements of the launcher. And on the top, the launch pad and the launch zone. On this slide, we can see more specifically the launch facilities for Ariane 6. So like I say here, the launcher assembly building, the BAL, where we assemble the 2 main stage. Here we can see the mobile gantry where we launch Ariane 6 and prepare the final operations. Just on the right, the water tower to protect the installation during the takeoff. And on the left, the LH2 storage and the log storage for fueling the launcher. Now, the milestone for the Ariane 6 launch campaign. On this slide, we can see the overall process of the assembly of Ariane 6. Most of the elements arrived by boat. I will come back on the boat in the next slide. The ULPM, it's the upper stage, come from Germany, and the lower stage come from Les Mureaux in France. Go to the BAL building here to be assembled. On this building, the BAF HE, we prepare the fairing and the launch vehicle adapter. It's the element between the spacecraft and the launcher. After first phase of assembly, all the components go to the launch pad with different means. And I will develop this launch phases day by day in the next slide. But before start the Ariane 6 launch campaign, let me show you the new boats which will perform the transatlantic crossing to transport from Europe to French Guiana the Ariane 6 elements. The cargo ship named Canopée is a very new boat with 121 meters long and will be powered by 4 363 square meters wing sails. Canopée is the first commercial application of the ocean wings concept. This wing sails will reduce fuel consumption by 15%. Now, the first day of the launch campaign starts at D-6 before liftoff. Sorry. The upper spacecraft is transferred from the preparation and fueling facilities for the spacecraft. The transfer is performed by the CCU-3, means spacecraft container number 3, who provides controlled environment for the spacecraft during the transfer on the road. At D-5 before liftoff, we integrate the lower spacecraft on the launcher vehicle adapter, the element which makes the interface between the launcher and the spacecraft. And at nightfall, the same for the upper spacecraft. We transfer the spacecraft from the fueling facilities with the CCU-3, and in few years, maybe the CCU-4, the next generation of spacecraft container. At D-5 on launcher side, it's a very busy day. We start by transferring the lower composite of Ariane 6 between its assembly building and the launch pad. We use automated trolleys to perform the transfer along the 800 meters road between the two buildings. Then we continue, you can see here in the picture, the verticalization of the lower composite. It's a tricky operation which required a coordination between the automated trolleys and the crane of the mobile gantry. All of this managed by human. And to finish this busy day, we transfer the booster from the storage building to the launch pad. For this part, we use a Fardier. It's a specific mean drives by operator, which can go up to 18 kilometers. And it's very impressive when you see this yellow monster right behind you in your rear view mirror. We can't see me, but I'm just here in the white car. Next day, D-4, we integrate the DLS, it's the dual launch system, onto the LVA, the launcher adapter, and next the upper spacecraft onto the DLS. On launcher side, we start the integration of the elements, allowing the junction mechanically and electrically between the lower composite and the 2 or 4 boosters, depends of the version of the launcher. Then we connect the ground to the launcher in terms of fluidic and conditioning line to perform the fueling during the final countdown. At D-3, we closing the fairing and we perform the electrical functional test for the spacecraft and the fairing to be sure that the connection is correct. For the launcher, we continue the integration of the element between the launcher, the lower composite, and the boosters. And we start the final connection check between the launcher and the launch pad. At D-2, it's a busy day also. We perform the transfer of the Ariane 6 upper composite. Here, you can see it. Between its building where we assemble it and the launch pad. For this, we use the UCT. It's a specially designed transport means. 6 meters wide, 26 meters long. The truck and the trailer are one due to its dimension. The vehicle has 2 cockpits, one at the front, the other at the rear. And it's powered by 3 generators and can go up to 9.5 kilometers. Once arrived in launch zone, we perform the assembly of the upper composite and the launcher by hoisting the upper composite onto the launcher. One day before liftoff, the day just before the launch, we perform all the inspection and final tests to be sure that everything is okay on the launcher, on the launch pad, and so on. And we prepare the rollout of the mobile gantry. So we remove all the platform in the mobile gantry to be able to roll out the mobile gantry next day. And to finish, the day of the final countdown, start with the rollout of the mobile gantry. Just some information about the mobile gantry. 56 meters wide, 58 meters long, and 89 meters height, for a rolling mass of 8,200 tons. When the mobile gantry is in parking zone, we start the finals operation in the CDL3. Here you can see it on this picture. It's the launch center where we perform the fueling of the different tanks in liquid oxygen and hydrogenous, and to finish the synchronized sequences where the launcher onboard computer takes the lead to perform the very last verification before start the main cryogenic engine. Now, just a little comparison between the Ariane 6 launch campaign and Ariane 5. So Ariane 6 is directly assembly on his launch pad, and Ariane 5 go between two buildings before going in launch area. We hope that the launch campaign duration will be only 6 days for Ariane 6. On Ariane 6, Ariane 5, we are 28 days of launch campaign. And normally, we will not perform additional control on the launcher when it arrived in launch zone. In Ariane 5, we perform a lot of control between the life cycle of Ariane 5 and the different bâtiments, the different buildings. So that's it. Now we have some minutes if you want to ask me some questions.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you, first of all, Francois, for this great overview of the Ariane 6 launch campaign. And it really brings into perspective the scale of everything, of the rocket, as you had this great photo of you being in the white car. So that I thought that was great. There's some questions from the audience, and I have some questions as well. So there's one a bit more, question that's more interesting. So from Arnold, on a scale from 0 to 10, how stressed will you be on the day of the launch? So that's a question to you, Francois.
I don't know, maybe 11.
11. Okay, I love that. Great. Okay, so another question from Juan. He is asking, does bad weather risk the integrity of the transportation of the parts in the boat?
No, because all the parts of the launcher are in a container. So everything is protected inside the container, and there are some conditioning in the container to protect the elements.
Okay, perfect. So then I have some questions of my own to you, Francois. So the first question would be regarding the location, obviously. So the French Guiana. So that's interesting. What are some of the attractive sides of this location? Because now what we see in a lot of launcher providers, they are opening up the launch sites in the Southern America, right? So what are some of the positive sides for the launch that the location offers?
Yes, sure. The first one is the proximity with the ocean. So when we launch on the east side, if we have some problem with the launcher and the destruction, normally all the elements will fall in the water. So it's a very important part for the French government. Mm-hmm. And the other one is the proximity with the Ecuador. So we have some more power for the launcher, thanks to the proximity for the geostationary position.
Okay, great. So that's a good insight. But my next question. So does Ariane have any plans of making a launch from the European soil in the near future?
I don't know. We
Okay.
can see some little launcher, but I don't know if the launch pad will be in Europe or in French Guiana.
I see. Okay, so my next question in that case, so far what we've been seeing from Ariane was making big contract launches, right? So big payloads that they've been delivering so far and being again dedicated launches. So in terms of the rideshare launches, so is Ariane looking into that?
In what, sorry?
So is Ariane planning on delivering the rideshare launches for the commercial customers?
I don't know, sorry.
That's no problem. Okay, perfect. So then next. So let's see. So looking into the future now, as first of all, you compared to us the Ariane 5 with the Ariane 6, right? And how those two campaigns differ. So what should we expect for the Ariane 7, Francois? So that's a question. What's the next thing to improve from your personal standpoint?
Yes, so we hope so that the next Ariane, the Ariane 7 or Ariane Next, will be to reuse the first stage, like SpaceX. Yeah.
Okay, so making it fully reusable, basically.
Yeah, and normally also LOX methane engine for the main stage.
I see. Perfect. So there's a few more questions from the audience, and we still have time. So I hope you don't mind answering a couple more questions.
No, sure.
Francois. So there's a question from Ryan. He's asking, how dominant are effects of vibration
during the
launch? Yes.
So when we start the engine and just after the takeoff, we use a lot of water to delay the vibration. So normally we reduce a lot this kind of effect. And during the flight, normally Ariane 5, I hope so, Ariane 6 too, will have a smooth flight.
Perfect. So a question from Mikhail, would it be possible to launch Ariane 6 from a sea platform?
I don't think so. I mean, it's very heavy launcher. So the cryogenic process to fueling the tanks are very tricky, and I don't know if it's possible.
Okay, perfect. So Mikhail got his answer. So there's another question from Juan, and he is talking in terms of this transportation that you were discussing. So how does that affect the military, again, payloads? Because if they have to transport all the parts through the Atlantic Ocean, they will need some kind of escort. So that's a question from Juan.
Yes, good question. So when I said that the elements of Ariane 6 come with the boat, it's only the launcher part. The spacecraft normally arrived with the plane, and I think the only spacecraft which arrived with a boat was James Webb, because it was too big and the vibration, yes, was a little bit difficult to assume for the spacecraft. So the NASA preferred to take the boat.
Okay, perfect. So I think that's pretty much all the questions, because we asked you a lot of questions. Francois. So thank you again for being generous with your answers and for the great overview of Ariane campaigns. Once again, for the audience, again, they can see your email right here.
Yep.
Plus, they can use this link that I dropped that directly allows them to request a private meeting with you via email. So
yeah, no problem.
make
Don't
sure the
hesitate.
audience to reach out to the Francois if you're looking to cooperate with Ariane, or you have some propositions to them, or you want to use again their launch services. So they will be happy to satisfy you with their services. So
exactly.
Okay, so perfect. Thank you, Francois, again for the presentation, and we'll be happy to see you next year with us again.
Yes, thank you. And I hope the next year I will be able to present you the first launch of Ariane 6.
Yes, we're all very much looking forward to that. So